Next thread, and this is more for our perspective, and I always try to convey this to guys. And I learned this in fitness, because in fitness, if you're fit and you exercise, especially if you start younger, and it's always been a component of your life, and everybody around you tends to exercise in some component regularly, and it's part of it. You think that everyone exercises, when in fact, like, no one exercises. No one actually takes care of themselves. We are such a minority, such an outlier. There are certain things that we take for granted, especially even in our little community here, that, yeah, of course you lift weights, of course you exercise in some capacity, of course you do. But for most people, it's never going to happen, and it's never happened. And the same thing happens with women and seduction and attraction. The vast majority of men hate girls, attraction, dating, texting, talking to girls, meeting up, escalation, sex. It doesn't mean they are attracted to men. It simply means they have no real driver towards women either. It's more of a, if it falls in my lap, and I guess I have to get married at some point to get my parents off my back, and I can have kids and somebody to clean the house and, to live a normal life, I'll do it begrudgingly. So they find girls to be confusing, stressful, unpredictable, time consuming, and frustrating. And this is why most men will marry the first girl who gives them a crumb of pussy. Again, the vast majority, when you look out over the suburbs, and I usually use a picture of, like these huge housing complexes, it's almost all beta males, because, and it's not that they just aren't interested. Guys, in general, you're the vast majority of men want a job that pays enough to cover the bills, and they don't want to be bitched at, and they want to be able to get drunk or high every day, and they want to be able to pursue their hobbies. They want to hunt and fish. They want to play with radio controlled cars. They want to play disc golf. They want to play with a train set. They want to be doing video games 23 hours a day if they can, and mostly just keep her off their ass, take care of the house, go to work if he needs the money, and live his life. Most are not interested whatsoever in moving women from complete strangers to naked in their bed consistently and with lots of women, and they're just not interested. So you have to recognize that, and that's also why they tend to react so angrily or violently, or object to this, because it's something that is not on their radar or of any interest. So just remember that when you're it's kind of like exercise. No one exercises. Like less than 1% of the population exercises consistently at any time in their life. Far less than 1%. It's teeny tiny. The vast majority of people don't even think about fitness or exercise or their health. They're literally just that's the vast majority of people. And the same thing goes for attraction and seduction and womanizing, if you will. The vast majority of men find it confusing and uncomfortable, and they avoid it at all costs. So that's, again, when you have trouble kind of like, recognizing why the vast majority of guys are not doing well. It's not that they just don't have the skills. They don't even have the skills. They don't even have the interest to build the skills. It's not there. It would like be you like having to, become a pipe fitter when you like working with computers, or, working on a assembly line when you're actually better at doing mental work. So you just have to realize that the vast majority of men don't have any interest whatsoever in women or womanizing or any of it. And they will begrudgingly marry whoever is the first person that fucks them, and they'll be happy about it. And they're happy. They're like as happy as they can be, as long as she doesn't like bitch at him too much, and he can indulge in some type of, addictive behavior, be it drinking or drugs, and pursue his hobbies. Those are the big two things, or three things really. No bitching. So that's the real deal when it comes to what the vast majority of men outside of our little world here, how they see the world, and why a lot of times you do catch a lot of heat from people for the things that are of interest to us, because we see things differently. So next slide, escalation